Campus is a place where thousands of people from diverse backgrounds meet. But have you ever felt like you've spoken clearly, but your group mates took offense? Or conversely, have you felt like your friend was too harsh when giving you advice? The problem is not what's being said, but how you convey it. Hello everyone. In this video, we will discuss one of the dynamics of intercultural communication, especially when it's on campus. On campus, many students come from various regional backgrounds, differing speaking styles and customs. This is also supported by the diversity of our country, and we, as citizens of Indonesia, are expected to understand these differences. The question is, can we all understand these differences? In this video, we'll explore three communication concepts that can serve as analytical tools to understand the root causes behind the differences in how people can interact in everyday life. This concept differentiates cultures based on how much information can be conveyed through words, compared to the context in which they are presented. The first one is low context communication. The focus is clarity, efficiency, and facts. The rhetoric used is usually very logical and structured. For the characteristics is messages are delivered explicitly, directly, and straightforwardly. The meaning lies in the words spoken. People with this type of communication will immediately convey what they want to convey. The message they convey gets straight to the heart of the matter without being long-winded or containing small talk. People with this culture also consider small talk a wasting of time. They have the principle that the information conveyed must be clear and that the speaker must ensure that their message is clear and understandable to the listener. And the second one is high context communication. The focus is maintaining harmony, good relationships, and reading the situation. The word no may rarely be said directly because it is considered rude. For the characteristics, much information is implied. Meaning is not just found in words, but also in the physical context, social status, and history of relationships between individuals. People with this cultural background often don't get to the heart of the matter directly in certain contexts. They can actually talk a lot, but the content is often just small talk to build atmosphere or comfort before getting to the heart of the conversation. Furthermore, high context people can be very brief in their communication because they assume their conversation partner already understands the context. Further, silence is also part of the message. Silence can mean agreement or disagreement, or even be perceived as contemplation. This concept highlights differences in perceptions regarding the number of words used in communication. The concepts of silence and verbal overexpression relate to how a culture views the use of words in social interaction. It is not just a matter of personality, introvert versus extrovert, but also cultural norms that determine when someone should speak and when to remain silent. The peoples who have culture like this have strong principles. The principle is silence doesn't mean empty. Silence is an active message. Silence as thinking space. Allowing a pause after someone speaks is considered a sign of respect. It shows that you are truthfully considering the speaker's words before responding, and silence as self-control. In collectivist cultures, the ability to remain silent when angry or disappointed is considered a sign of maturity and strength of character. Expressing emotion through words is seen as weakness. The next is verbal overexpression. Some cultures use highly colorful, intense, and repetitive language to ensure the message reaches the listener. Usually, almost all of them use of hyperbole and metaphor. Sentence often contain strong similes. For example, to say, "I am very grateful," they might use a much longer and more poetic sentence, and also about intonation and volume. This communication typically involve a louder voice, raising and falling pitch, and very lively facial expression. The next concept is ethnocentrism, a person's tendency to judge another person, culture, or custom based on their own cultural standards. This is why conflict over speaking style often escalate into hatred. We tend to think my speaking style is the most correct and professional while theirs is wrong. We fail to see that these are simply differences in methods, not standards of right or wrong. This happens quite often, where we judge their culture of communication as being the same as our own, when in fact there is nothing wrong with the two cultures. It is simply a cultural difference. That's all the explanation I can convey on this occasion. Let's reflect. Have we previously understood the differences in communication styles or not? Do we even tend to corner people who have these differences? Obviously, the explanation can be understood and try to apply it in understanding the differences in communication styles in your circle of friends. Goodbye.